If I turn it on, it works so much better. Whoa, who knew? I'm Reverend Debbie. Thank you for joining us this morning at the Center for Spiritual Living here in Minneapolis. This center is founded on the truth, the basic truth that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can consciously use it. The mission of this center is to teach, demonstrate, and inspire that spiritual, positive approach to living. And with that, I would like to introduce Victoria and James.
What kept me sad was the story in my head about what I never had and what I never said. But I can sing a song the flowers gave to me. It helps me to be strong. It helps me to be free. When I'm walking with you, I'm walking with God. When I'm talking with you, I'm talking with God. When I'm praying with you, I'm praying with God. If God is all there is, then everything is God. When I'm laughing with you, I'm laughing with God. When I'm singing with you, I'm singing with God. In the arms of my friends, I'm in the arms of God. If God is all there is, then everything is God. There is a road, a journey we must take. It starts from within, it's just a thought away. I can sing a song the flowers gave to me. It helps me to be strong, it helps me to be free. When I'm walking with you, I'm walking with God. When I'm talking with you, I'm talking with God. When I'm praying with you, I'm praying with God. If God is all there is, then everything is God. When I'm laughing with you, I'm laughing with God. When I'm singing with you, I'm singing with God. In the arms of my friends, I'm in the arms of God. If God is all there is, then everything is God. If God is all there is, then everything is God. If God is all there is, then everything is God.
That was beautiful, thank you. All right, let's pray, shall we? Let's take one of those wonderful breaths as we realize that it is Spirit that is breathing us. Because everything is God. And it is from that place that I remember the truth. That God's experiencing its creation as each and every one of us is creating our life. Our experiences of its creation. And it is from that place that I just say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to gather in community. Thank you for this opportunity to remember our truth. Thank you for the opportunity of this wonderful message, this fabulous fellowship, and this thing that we call the science of mind. So it is. All right, we've got a group reading. Join me as we declare, I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I am ready to apply it in my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessing. I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be transformative light in the world. So it is. Yay. All right, now I'm going to invite Celeste to come up. On Sundays, we like to honor the fact that there are multiple paths to the one, but there is only one. And so we're going to light flames recognizing the more traditional paths to the one. So we start with the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And now I invite all of us just to notice that flame within, that spark, that is oneness, that is healing, that is that peace that passes all understanding. Thank you, Celeste. And now we have an inspirational reading from Marv.
Listening Beyond the Noise of the World by Reverend Jeff Bird. There is a place beneath the clamor, beneath the headlines and hurried replies, beneath the old rehearsed stories and the voices that say, "You are not enough, not ready, not yet." There's a place beneath the fear, beneath the need to defend, beneath the restless reaching for certainty, approval, and control. It is not far away. It is not hidden from you. It is waiting in the quiet chamber of your own being. There, Spirit does not shout, truth does not argue, love does not force its way in. It waits, steady as sunrise, gentle as breath, deep as the ancient soul of you. And when you become still, when you let the world fall back a little, when you loosen your grip on the noise you have carried, you may begin to hear it. A whisper, a knowing, a presence without panic. It will not ask you to become someone else. It will call you into the holy courage of becoming more fully yourself. Not the self shaped by fear, not the self trained by old conditions, not the self that lives by comparisons or hides behind a mask, but the self that remembers, the self that belongs to love, the self that knows it came from God and still lives in God now. So listen. Listen beyond the noise of the world. Listen beyond the noise of the mind. Listen for the voice that does not use words, but speaks in peace, in clarity, in quiet strength. And when you hear it, trust it. For that still small voice has been telling the truth about you all along.
Spirit, shine your light on me. Guide me and show me the way. I place my trust in you, knowing you will never fail. You bless me with your presence every day. Sweet Spirit, fill me with your peace. Give me the strength to carry on in this and every moment. Give me the courage to follow the words, thy will be done. There may be times when I feel down, till I know that this is okay. I know your shining light will dispel the darkest of my fears, if I only remember to pray. Sweet Spirit, shine your light on me. Guide me and show me the way. I place my trust in you, knowing you will never fail, if I only remember to pray. Lord, help me remember to pray.
That was lovely. It's always nice to have James in the house, isn't it? Yeah. All right. And with that, Reverend Jeff Byrne.
Have to put on a different hat now. Oh, Minnesota has a way of telling us not to put our winter coats away too soon, doesn't it? Don't put the shovel away, all those kind of things. So, but we love living here most of the time. So, today, this month, we've been speaking about the practice of becoming. And I kind of love that phrase, because becoming is not really trying to turn ourselves into something else or just something we're not. It's about not about straining, pretending, or chasing some perfect spiritual image of ourselves. Becoming is about uncovering more of what's already true within us. It's about becoming more available to the life of spirit that is already seeking to express itself as us. That's the heart of today's message, listening beyond the noise of the world. And God knows there's a lot of noise right now. But when we think about it, there always is. In the science of mind, we teach that each person is an individualized expression of the one life, the one mind, the one spirit. So becoming is not becoming or earning our spiritual identity. It's about awakening to it. It's about remembering who and whose we are. So today we begin with this question. What if silence were the doorway to a more authentic life? What if stillness could help us hear something deeper than the noise of the world? And what if, beneath all the chatter, all the pressure, all the opinions, and all the endless movement of the mind, there is already a wisdom within us that's waiting to be heard? Most people do not struggle because God is absent. Most people struggle because life gets loud. The world is full of voices competing for our attention. News, social media, stress, fear, old stories. Inner criticism and the constant pressure to keep up can leave us feeling mentally crowded and spiritually tired. And when life gets noisy, it becomes hard to hear the quiet truth of our own being. Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind, "We are surrounded by all sorts of vibrations, and if we wish to catch any of them distinctly, we must tune in." That is such a simple and powerful reminder. Spirit is always present. Guidance is always present. Wisdom is always present. But if we are tuned to fear, hurry, resentment, or distraction, that's what we'll hear clearly. So today we're going to explore what it means to listen beyond the noise of the world. We're going to explore the power of silence, the gift of stillness, and the possibility that when we get quiet enough, we might hear the healing whisper of truth. And that's where becoming truly begins. Not striving, not enforcing, but in listening. If we're going to listen beyond the noise of the world, it helps to be honest about what keeps us truly from listening in the first place. And yes, some of it's out there. We live in a world full of distraction. There's always something calling for our attention. The news tells us to be alarmed. Social media tells us to compare. Advertising tells us we are lacking something. And other people's opinions can get so loud that we begin to lose touch with our own inner knowing. It can feel like we are being pulled in a dozen directions at once. But as challenging as all that might be, I think the deeper issue is not the noise around us, but it's the noise within us. Sometimes the mind gets so busy that it never, ever rests. And we replay old conversations. We rehearse what we should have said. We worry about what happens next. We hold on to hurts. We defend old positions. We try to control outcomes. We carry fear, resentment, self-judgment, and mental hurry, and then we wonder why it's so hard to feel peace. Well, the outer noise may get our attention, but the inner noise is often what keeps us from hearing the truth. And this is important because in the science of mind, we understand our consciousness is creative. What fills the mind tends to shape our experience. If my awareness is crowded with fear, then fear covers what I see in life. If my awareness is crowded with anger, then anger speaks louder than wisdom. If my awareness is full of opinions, assumptions, and old beliefs, it becomes very hard for something new to enter. Sometimes we think we are listening for guidance, but we're really just listening to our own reactions. This happens to all of us. Maybe we are upset with someone and we ask for spiritual guidance, but what we really want is agreement with our hurt. Maybe we want clarity, but what we really want is to have life go the way we decided it should go. And maybe we say we are listening to spirit, but underneath we're still clinging to fear, still embracing ourselves, still trying to protect an old version of who we think we are. And that is why listening asks something of us. It asks us for honesty. It asks us for humility. It asks us to notice what we are carrying. But most of what blocks spiritual clarity is not outside of us. It's within our own thought. Mental clutter. Fixed opinions, old stories, false beliefs, defensiveness, the need to be right, and the fear of letting go. All of that can crowd the doorway of our awareness. Yet the good news is this: Spirit has never stopped speaking. Divine wisdom is not absent. The presence of God is not withholding guidance from us. That still small voice is not missing. It's simply that we were often tuned to another station. That's why the practice of becoming must include the practice of noticing. Dennis Merritt Jones always talks about that with awareness, awareness, awareness. So much starts with where are we right now? Notice what we were believing. Notice what we were rehearsing. Notice what we were reacting to. Noticing what has taken up so much room in our mind, the deeper truth could barely get a word in. Jesus said, "Be still and know that I am God." He didn't say be frantic. He did not say be reactive and know. He just said be still. Stillness begins when we give up all our authority to the noise. Maybe that is one of the greatest spiritual questions for us today. What voice have I been listening to? The voice of fear? The voice of doubt? The voice of old conditioning? And that's one that we really have to work on. Or that quiet voice of truth that reminds me who I really am. Because until we become aware of the noise that's within us, it may keep wisdom from showing up for us. So if noise keeps us from listening, then silence becomes much more than the absence of sound. Silence becomes a spiritual practice. Silence becomes a doorway. Silence becomes a teacher. That may sound a little strange at first, but most of us do not think of silence as teaching us anything. We tend to think of silence as empty space, or maybe an awkward pause, simply the lack of conversation and activity. But spiritual silence is not empty at all. In fact, silence may be one of the fullest spaces we ever enter. Silence has a way of bringing us back into ourselves. When we stop filling every moment with words, noise, entertainment, and reaction, something begins to shift. At first, what we notice may not be peaceful. We may notice how restless the mind has become. We might notice how quickly thoughts jump from one thing to another. We may notice feelings we have been avoiding. We may notice grief, fear, frustration, or fatigue that has been covered by our busyness. That's one reason why many people avoid silence. Silence removes distractions. It gently takes away the places that we hide. It invites us to sit with what is real. That is also why silence can heal. Silence gives us a chance to stop performing. It gives us a chance to stop managing appearances. It gives us a chance to stop explaining life and begin experiencing it. In the silence, the mask begins to soften. The defenses loosen a little. The surface noise settles. And somewhere underneath all of that, something truer begins to emerge. Silence teaches us to be present. It teaches us to observe without having to fix everything. It teaches us to feel without immediately judging what we feel. It teaches us to wait without panic. It teaches us to become available to a deeper presence that cannot always be heard when the mind is racing and racing and racing. That's why silence is not passive. Silence is active. Silence is doing something in us even when nothing seems to be happening. You know, in silence, we may begin to see our patterns more clearly. We may notice what triggers us, what drains us, what stories keep telling us, and what fears keep repeating themselves in our minds. In that noticing, something beautiful begins to happen. We are no longer completely trapped inside the pattern. We are becoming aware. We are waking up. We are beginning to listen with new ears. There's a wonderful quote by Gordon Hempton. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything. Think about that. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of everything. I think that points to something very, very deep. In true silence, we are not cut off from life. We are more deeply connected to it. We become aware of what has been there all along. Presence, wisdom, guidance, the aliveness of the moment, the nearness of spirit. Ernest Holmes taught us that there's a presence and a power in the universe greater than we are, and that presence is available to all of us. Silence is one of the ways we consciously become more available to it. And we talk a lot about that. Being available to it, being open to it, letting it come in. It's so true. Not because God is far away, but because our awareness has become scattered. Silence helps gather us back. And when that happens, silence becomes holy ground. It becomes a place where we stop trying so hard to make truth happen and instead begin to receive what Spirit is already revealing. It becomes a place where intuition can rise, where peace can return, where the heart can soften, and where the soul can finally get a word in, because we've been so busy with everything else. So silence is not just a break from the world. Silence is a way of listening more deeply to life. It teaches us that not every answer comes through effort. Some answers come through receptivity. Some wisdom arrives only when we stop pushing. Some healing begins when we become quiet enough to notice what has already been waiting within us all along. And maybe that's one of the gifts of this practice of becoming. We begin to understand that silence is not a void fear. It is a sacred space that has room to speak. Silence is powerful, but I think it's important to realize that silence and stillness are not exactly the same thing. Silence is what we enter outwardly. We turn off the noise, we step away from distraction, we create a silent space, a quiet space. But stillness is something deeper. Stillness is an inner condition. Stillness is what happens within us when the mind no longer has to chase, argue, defend, or control. You can be in a quiet room and not be still. The room may be silent, but the mind may still be racing. How many of you had that when you try to meditate? You just can't get that sucker to shut off. It just keeps going and going and going. The body may be sitting down, but the inside may still be in worry, resistance, replaying, planning, and reacting. So silence may be the doorway, but stillness is the deeper arrival. And when stillness begins to come alive in us, something beautiful happens. We begin to discern more clearly. We begin to notice that not every thought is true. Not every emotion is guidance. Not every strong feeling is spiritual direction. Sometimes when what feels urgent is just fear. Sometimes what feels loud is only habit. Sometimes what feels convincing is just an old pattern that's had a lot of practice. Stillness helps us tell the difference. When we are stirred up, everything can feel confusing. Fear can sound like wisdom. Control can sound like strength. Defensiveness can pretend to be clarity. But when we become inwardly still, we begin to sense a truth in a different way. Truth does not usually shout. Truth has a steadiness to it. Truth has peace in it. Truth has a kind of inner rightness that does not need to force itself on us. That's one of the gifts of stillness. It softens the grip of the conditioned mind. And Lord knows we've conditioned our mind over years and years and years. That mind has been trained by fear, habit, separation, and wants to react quickly. It wants to judge quickly. It wants to protect itself quickly. But stillness slows the whole process down. It gives a space between the stimulus and the response. It gives us room to breathe. And in that room, wisdom has a chance to appear. And this is where discernment is born. Discernment is not judgment. Discernment is spiritual seeing. It's the ability to recognize what is real, what is true, what is aligned with love, and what is not. It's the ability to sense the difference between the voice of the ego and the voice of the soul. Between panic and guidance, between pressure and peace, between what is merely familiar and what is actually true. And that matters because becoming who we really are really requires discernment. If I cannot discern the difference between my old conditioning and my deeper nature, then I might keep calling on my habits and call them my identity. I may keep calling on my fear and calling it wisdom. I may keep calling on my defenses and calling it my personality. But stillness begins to reveal something deeper. It shows me that beneath all the mental noise, I am more than my reactions. I am more than my history. I am more than my wounds. I am more than the stories that I have told myself over and over and over again. Stillness lets the deeper wisdom of spirit rise into awareness. It strengthens intuition. It quiets compulsion. It loosens the need to figure everything out with intellect alone. And from that place, we are able to respond to life with more grace, more wisdom, and more authenticity. Ernest Holmes reminds us that the spirit within us knows all things. But when we do not always hear that inner knowledge when we are caught in mental turbulence. Stillness is not about becoming passive. It's about becoming available. It's about becoming clear enough to let divine intelligence move through us without so much interference. And maybe that's the invitation here. not simply to seek quiet moments, but to cultivate an inner stillness that can remain with us even in the middle of life. A stillness that allows us to listen beneath appearances. A stillness that lets us know what is ours to do, what is ours to release, and what truth is trying to emerge right from where we are. Because when stillness deepens, truth becomes easier to recognize. And when truth becomes easier to recognize, becoming becomes more natural. So, how do we listen beyond the noise of the world? The world is still noisy. Our schedules are still full. The mind does not always want to cooperate. Boy, we all know that one. I think it begins with willingness. You don't have to go away to a mountain retreat. You don't have to wait until life gets easier. We begin right where we are, making small, intentional spaces for silence and stillness. Maybe it's 5 minutes in the morning before the phone goes on. Maybe it's sitting quietly with a cup of coffee and simply breathing before your day gets going. This one I like. Maybe it's pausing before we answer someone with emotions running high. Maybe it's taking a quiet walk without filling the space with our input. Take off the headphones. Maybe it's asking one simple question in prayer. What is really true here? That one's a powerful practice. Not what am I afraid of, not what do I want to control, not how can I make this go my way, but what is really true here. The question can open a door, but then we have to listen. Not always for words, not always for some dramatic spiritual message. Sometimes truth comes from a feeling of peace. Sometimes it comes as a release. Sometimes it comes with a quiet knowing. Sometimes it comes as a realization that we do not need to react right now. This practice also asks us to notice when noise has taken over. When am I mentally spinning? Can I notice it? When am I feeling fear? Can I notice it? When am I rehearsing an old story again? Can I notice it? When am I reacting from habit instead of responding from wisdom? Can I notice that? That noticing is not failure. That noticing is awakening. Because once we notice, then we have a choice. We can keep feeding the noise, or we can return to center. Take a breath, be still, remember the presence, and listen again. That may be one of the most practical spiritual disciplines we have, to interrupt the momentum of noise and gently return to the truth of our being. And the more we practice this, the more natural it becomes. We may still hear the noise of the world, but we don't have to obey it. We may still have fearful thoughts, but we don't have to build a home for them. We may still face uncertainty, but we can meet it from a deeper place. Little by little, we begin to live from the inside out. And that's the practice of becoming. So today, we've been invited into something very simple, very deep, to listen beyond the noise of the world. We've seen the noise is not only around us, much of it lives within us as fear, old stories, reaction, judgment, the restless habit of the mind. We've also seen that silence is not empty. Silence can teach us. Silence can soften us. Silence can open a door. And stillness, that deeper inner condition, helps us discern what is true. This matters because the practice of becoming is about not adding more strain to our lives. It's about not trying to be more impressive, more spiritual looking, or more perfect. It's about being more real, more open, more available to the presence of God already within us. We do not become who we truly are by listening to every fearful voice, every outer pressure, every old piece of conditioning. We become who we truly are by listening more deeply than that. We listen with the ears of the soul. I like that. Listen with the ears of the soul. There is something within each of us that is never frantic, never confused, never separated from the divine. That's in each and every one of us. Beneath all the noise, beneath all the rushing, beneath all the defenses, there is a deeper place of wisdom, peace, and truth. And when we become more quiet enough, still enough, willing enough, then we begin to hear it. We begin to remember that the next page is right here. Maybe it is a real invitation this week not to escape the world, but stop letting the world define the deepest truth of who we are. Not to run from life, but to meet life from a deeper center. Not to force answers, but to become still enough to receive them. Rumi wrote, "There's a voice that doesn't use words. Listen." There's a voice that doesn't use words. Listen. That's what this talk is about. Listening for that deeper voice. Listening for the presence behind appearances. Listening for the truth that does not shout, but quietly knows. That's where our becoming begins to help us. That's where it begins. Not in the noise, not in the striving, not in fear, but in silence, in stillness, in the sacred willingness to hear the whisper of truth. And so this week, may we each take a little more time for quiet. May we be a little less ruled by noise. May we trust a little more deeply the presence that's always here. And may we all discover that as we listen beyond the world, we begin to hear the divine life becoming itself as us. And so it is.
Child of this universe, the ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by Mother Earth. I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have aligned for me in the sky. I am honored by all life. I am held by Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me. I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth. Yes, I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. I am a channel for peace to flow. Oh, I honor all of life. Yes, I'm one with Father Time. To every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on a tree, to every mountain top, I sing of the glory of God moving through all, moving as me, moving as you, moving.
Lovely. Okay. It's our time for conscious giving, with conscious being the key, because giving from that place of knowing our source, giving from that place of freely allowing it to go out and do its own good work and come back pressed down and multiplied. That is true of our time, it's true of our talent, and it's true of our treasure. So I would like to thank you all in advance, because there are so many different ways to give, but if you would take, from a place of consciousness, if you would just take that gift, take it to heart, and let us just breathe a little extra love in it, because that right there will send a little extra love out. So it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We're grateful for the gifts. We're grateful for the givers. We're grateful for that song. We were talking about it during our book discussion. Some people sing it when they're walking, and if you've been here long enough and you've got the words, put it to good work, as they say. Okay, we've got a few announcements. We're going to start with Kevin.
So you've all heard of kirtan or spiritual chanting out of the yogic or Buddhist or even Jewish traditions. There's a group in St. Paul that meets once a month, and this is the night tonight. Wild Moon Bhaktas, and they're great. They really rehearse they have a really cool sound, guitar, tablas, and cello, and they're meeting in St. Paul tonight at the Friends Meeting House, which is 1725 Grand Avenue at 7 o'clock. And, it's 6:30. It goes 6:30 to 8. It's wonderful chanting. And believe me, after singing and chanting, there's a silence that comes along. And you can just sit in that silence between each one. And these are holy. They all have a holy vibration to them, affirming, I am that I am. I am that power. Wild Moon Bhaktas, once a month. Look for it. I've got some brochures back there. Namaste.
Okay, so I've got your Sunday evening planned out for you. We've got Anthony's Art Crawl at the Wells Fargo Building, downtown St. Paul, until 5. It's really very cool what they've got displayed there. And so that ends at 5. And then there's wonderful places to have dinner. Before 6:30, chant. Doesn't that sound like a perfect way to spend a time? Okay. But seriously, in all seriousness, if you can check out Anthony's, today's the last day for this particular event that he's got going on. And there are some really incredible artists there. On Wednesday, May 6th, on Wednesday, May 6th, we are going to start a new book discussion, and we're going to talk around the book, The Universe is Calling by Eric Butterworth. It's kind of a primer on science of mind and living from that place of source. So hopefully you can join us. You can sign up on the web. If you're not able to on our website, if you're not able to join us It's a great book to have in your collection. It truly is. And it's also a good book if somebody's like, what do you believe? It's a good book to recommend. So there's all of that. And we've got Coffee with the Ministers at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. So if you want to get on Zoom with or without a camera, it's up to you. But we're going to have an interesting discussion, answer any questions you might have, set some intentions for the week, and and pray. It's a good Wednesday morning's a good time to pray together. And sign-up sheets. I want to thank Brent. He has brought us some wonderful refreshments today, so thank you, sir. You don't have to eat muffins today, which is great news. I want to thank Celeste, who signed up for candles, and Marv, who signed up for the reading today. There's lots of spots open, so feel free. Put your name down as many times as you want. And that's what we've got. I'm going to pray us out. Reverend Joanne is speaking down at Unity of the Valley today, so she is going to bless us from afar. We're going to sing out. And then we're going to have some fabulous cookies and coffee. All right, let's just do a spiritual mind treatment, shall we? It's so powerful. In this moment, I just remember that truth that there is only one, that one which I call God, but goes by so many names. It even goes nameless. It is that one intelligence, that one creative. And what I know is true is that each and every one of us is an expression and a partner with it. And so it is from that place of divine partnership, of divine knowing, and of remembering that truth that in this moment I declare for myself, and I invite you to join me as I declare that there is clarity, peace, ease, and grace. That there is time for silence. That there is a stillness moving within that makes itself known. That I listen with an open heart and an open mind. And I become willing to be a greater expression of who I am. A greater expression of whose I am. Clarity, focus, peace, ease, grace. It right there is what is demonstrating throughout all of my life. And so, releasing anything that is not supporting that higher expression of oneself, I just say, bye-bye. And I come back to the truth. And I celebrate that truth, and I become grateful. I am grateful that God is doing all of the heavy lifting. I am grateful that I am willing to allow God to do that. Because it's to do. Mine is to know the truth. And so, with a heart full, and knowing that my statements of truth have been made and are already in the process of demonstrating, I release these words, and I just say, and so it is. Yeah. Okay. Let's sing.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. You've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more